But those persons are not trained and educated in safety and health. But those persons are asked to supervise
Quite true.
a small
You know.
group. What are you supervising if you are not trained in safety and health?
Quite
So
true.
we have a saying again that
Quite
then
true.
you put square pegs in round holes.
Quite true.
So your business ultimately fails and suffer because of your lack of input in safety and health.
Quite true. As you touched on something very important there. And it happens all over. In Guyana, all across the world. You know, people join. I join an organization, and because maybe the organization when I joined was small, and as it grows, I'm elevated all the time without being provided with those training and experiences and exposure that makes me a complete supervisor or a manager, as you rightly said. So, for me, I do not take those, things as important because I only see what is important is production and getting these people to work and to produce. But the other important aspects like the welfare, the safety of the employees are not important to me, which, as you rightly said, they are very, very important. You're watching Grow at IPED, and here we are addressing the issue of occupational safety and health. It's April, and it's Occupational Health and Safety Month. And that is why we're bringing you information, small and micro entrepreneurs, and generally the wider public as well. Because, Mr. Beresford, and you mentioned that, occupational safety and health is not only the concern of employers and employees, it's also the concern of homeowners.
Yes. And homeowners and
The home,
the household,
the household.
has more hazards in some cases than workplaces.
Quite true.
Let's look at, for instance, your aerosol, your baygon, your toilet and bath cleaner, all of these things you purchase.
Right.
Do you read the labels to see, one, how they should be stored, how they should be used?
We don't.
And some chemicals should not be used in close proximity to others because of chemical reaction.
Reactions.
Let me give an example. You spraying baygon on a roach, a cockroach, for instance, and you spray that running behind a roach to ensure that it's dead. But you don't realize that one spray would kill a roach. And what is happening is that you are exposing yourself to the mist and the vapors of that same chemical that is killing a roach.
You know what you're saying? Whilst you're talking, I'm laughing, I'm grinning, because my son and my wife, they do the same thing. I tell them, look, one spray is just good enough, but they would run behind it, thinking that, they would only stop spraying when it stops, running.
And by then you will probably do 20% of the contents of that container. But you also within an environment which will enclose, you inhale it, and over a period of time, it begins to affect your organs, like your kidneys, your lungs, and eventually, even to some male, exposure to chemicals cause functions, your body functions to be depleted. Some persons can have cancer.
Quite true.
Females could have reproduce deformed children. The males could have impotency and infertility. All of these are a result of prolonged exposure to chemicals over time.
Quite true. Now, let us say I'm a business owner and I want to get on board. I want to be serious about occupational safety and health. Where do I start and how do I start and where do I go for help? I need advice.
Well, the Ministry of Labor, the Occupation Safety and Health Division, provides the overall as a regulatory body for occupation safety and health. But you first of all need to, what are your plans? What are your objectives? And it starts with having an objective and an occupation safety and health policy for your organization.
Right.
And these policies could be done either by ministry or they are private persons or your training. You ask a private consultant or a person who in occupation, provide a safety policy. That person come into your organization and then know what the intricacy of that organization, then that person will draft the policy, which is not something that is expensive nor voluminous. The other thing is that you need to have a program, policies, your procedures, and how do you comply with the occupation safety health? And not only that, with International Labour Organization conventions and regulations on occupation safety and health. There are conventions and recommendations Guyana has signatory to, which ensure that you do certain things, like accidents, for instance. Do you have a register of accidents or accident register?
Right.
Do you have any trained person on first aid? Okay. Do you have, for instance, when you purchasing chemicals, the material safety data sheet or MSDS? What do you have to train? And the training could not only be occupation safety and health, but it's important the training is integrated into your overall education and training program.
Quite true.
So if you have a half-day program on finances, stitch in a 20 minutes on occupation safety and health.
Quite true. It should be a continuous
program.
exercise. And it's not just a one-stop thing, one-off thing, and you just forget about it after you've done your purchases and you train them once a year. No, it's a continuous, it should be in your whole psyche, your body language, your whole philosophy and culture of the organization or the business.
Yes.
Safety and health.
And some entrepreneurs may ask themselves, look, I'm a small entrepreneur. I'm a small enterprise, 5 persons. How do I address this? It's simple. You may not be able to release all 5 of your employees, but you have 5 similar enterprises with the same quantum of employees. You can have 2 employees from each enterprise make up a workshop.
Quite true.
And those persons now can go back into the respective enterprises and share the knowledge. Which means that it's cost effective.
Quite true.
So this is where some of the stopgap measures you can utilize.
Okay.
And there are training programs also which deals with specific industries like ergonomics, which is basically a serious issue in Guyana. Stress, industrial hygiene, hazards, you have chemical awareness. All of these are things that you need to address. And there are programs out there. There are institutes of Critical Labor College, the IDC, that provides training for your employees. But IPED also can have a program where you have these persons come into IPED as part of your overall responsibility and then have those persons trained to specific needs.
Quite true. And at IPED, we say that at IPED, we do not only provide you with the financing to start and to run your business, but we provide also the complementary business development services, like what Mr. Beresford is saying, advice on safety, health tips, and so forth. So let us say someone is living way out, maybe in region 7 or 8, or let us say 10. They can get help as well.
Yes.
There are ministries there, representatives there that can go into.
Well, the ministry has sub-offices in Region 6, which is Berbice, and also Region 2, Essequibo. But employees also visit the other regions, like Region 10, Region 3, on a periodical basis, a monthly basis. And there are outreach programs which the ministry would also use to do what we call fan-out exercise. Now, as part of Occupation Safety and Month, there are several symposiums and fan-out exercises that will be done throughout Guyana.
Talk about them. Just we have 2 minutes more. Just mention for the benefit of our viewers.
They will be on the 27th. There'll be a walk, an Occupation Safety and Health walk from the Independence Ground, in Parade Ground, as we know in Middle Street, to the National Park. The ministry could contact you for more information. You also have an exercise in Linden, which is a mini exhibition in Linden. We also have one at Anna Regina Community Center and a symposium, and also in Region 6, Berbice. As part of it also, you have a symposium on the 28th which deals with chemical regulations, called New Regulations being unfolded with Regulation Chemical Safety.
So stick a pin there. On the 28th, you have
the
a
symposium at the Regency Suite.
On chemicals.
On chemicals, and we are asking persons
all
to
are
contact.
Invited?
We are asking companies to, and some letters have been sent out. And if you haven't received a letter, you can contact the ministry, and we'll be glad to facilitate your participation.
Because I guess that would be of interest to farmers and so forth, people who use a lot of chemicals.
That's right. And that is also why we go into Essequibo also, or Region 2. Now also there is a school essay competition.
That's good.
Which is addressing the school or the persons who are not going into the work environment. And this will also be
sensitizing them from a very young age.
From a very young age.
That's good.
And that is done also. That's important. And the award ceremony will be held on the 28th. So you have the award ceremony, and then you have the two. And following that, you will have a fair, an exhibition, which will be held at the Dixie Car Park, which is in Lemahorse Street. And that will be held on the 29th of April, where exhibitors will be there displaying their stuff. to all members of the public.
And all these
Of,
activities are done in observance
of
of.
Occupational Safety and Health
Okay.
Month.
You know, Mr. Beresford, there's so much we can go on and talk about, but time is very, very limited. And, you know, I want to thank you very much for taking time off. I know you're a very, very busy person as the Vice Chairman of the National Advisory Council on Occupational Safety and Health. And I've made to understand maybe you also wear other caps. You know, you're
Yes,
also.
I'm also my consultant. I have my own occupation safety and consultancy service
Okay.
with over 20 years experience. And I also do lectures and courses on occupation safety.
Okay. So in closing, what words of advice would you want to leave to small and micro business owners out there with regards to occupational safety and health?
Well, I would like to ask you, think about occupational safety and health as an investment where your benefits will be well rewarded. Think about occupational safety and health not only as a burden to you, but a service to your employees. And if you really care about your employees, who are supposed should be your most valuable assets, you will invest in their safety and health. And safety starts in the womb and ends at the tomb. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Beresford. Safety starts in the womb and ends at the tomb. That's a wonderful way to cap off our discussion here on Grow It IPED. I want to thank you very much once again. And I do hope viewers, small and micro entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs or even homeowners, that you would have learned quite a lot and that this program would have sensitized you on occupational safety and health, its importance, and how you can make a meaningful contribution and make this thing be of benefit to you, your families, members of the community, and your loved ones. It's on that note I want to thank you for watching. But before I go, I just want to remind those of you who have loans with IPED that it is very, very important for you to ensure you make those loan installments on time. And we have made it very easy for you, very simple. You can pay either at the nearest post office in your district, or you can drop by a Bill Express office and make those payments as well. Or why not try the GT&T Mobile Money Guyana. And if you're happening to pass by an IPED office, remember, we're spread across the country, everywhere in Guyana, for everyone in Guyana. Do stop in, make those payments. But remember, when you make those payments, do ensure that you collect a valid IPED receipt. And those of you who are interested in training programs or ICM programs at the Entrepreneurial Development Center, I want to invite you to call our ICM or Entrepreneurial Development Center and find out more about the programs we have lined up for you. And don't forget, young ones, you're within the ages of 18 and 35, come and let us talk to you at the Guyana Youth Business Trust. It was a pleasure being with you. I want to thank the NCN crewmen for yet again doing a wonderful job, and I want to wish you all the best in the coming week. Get going, keep growing with IPED.